I'd like to welcome y'all back to another episode of Beyond the Fear podcast, the place where y'all come for motivation, inspiration, uplifting, and just positive words. I'm your host, DJ, and today's episode is just about being yourself, and being honest with yourself. And the reason why I'm talking about this today is because I noticed a few things over the past couple of weeks at work. And the main thing that I noticed was just there are people at my job who, when they're around certain people, they act a certain way. So I know them to be the way that I've seen them from the very first time of me meeting them to now. They've just been one way. But then what I realized was when those same people get around other friends or other people that they, are cool with, they turn into somebody completely different, like polar opposites. It's one thing if you act a certain way around certain friends, and then you have your group of friends that might bring out a little bit more funny or a little bit more whatever. But when you just do a complete 180 and you turn into like somebody totally different, like the total opposite of who you've been, it's just kind of like it just was one of those eye-opening things, like, wow, who are you, and why do you act this way? Like, why do you pretend to be something you're not, whether it's you're pretending with me or you're pretending with um the other group of friends that you have, or the other group of coworkers that you hang with. Like, who was the real you? Where, what I'm saying, where are you? Like, who are you? And it just kind of got me to thinking, like, man, like, why is it so hard for people to be themselves? Why is it so hard for people to be true to who they are? And then, like, one of the things that I kind of realized, like, people just aren't honest with themselves, because even when I talked to one of my coworkers about it, and at first it was like they were denying it, like, no, that's not true. I don't act, I don't switch up, I don't do this, I don't do that. And then it's like, okay, that's cool. You can't really, you can't force nobody to be honest if they don't want to be honest. So it was just like one of those things where it was like, well, you just let a couple of days go by, and then you catch them again in the act of doing it. And then it's like you bring it up again, like while they're in the middle of doing it with the other set of friends, while they was in the middle of doing it with the other group of associates. And then it was just kind of like, oh, okay, you either just don't like who you are, you're not honest with who you are, you might not like the person that you are, you might not like who you see in the mirror, you might want to just fit in so bad that you just emulate the people that are around you. I don't know what it could be, but it was definitely frustrating, because again, from day one of me meeting this person, I've known this person to be one way. You know what I'm saying? And I get it. We're human. You know what I'm saying? That we all have layers. We all, there's different sides of us. So, you know what I'm saying? That much I understand. But it's like when the core of who you are changes completely with depending on who's around. You know what I'm saying? Depending on who's around, that's what character or what personality you bring out. And it's just like, yeah, I'm seeing things in you that I'm not a fan of. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, you say you represent one thing when you're around me, but then you do something totally different and represent something totally different when you're around other groups of people. And it just made me kind of realize that, okay, I need to start falling back from this person, because I don't know who you are. I don't know what you represent. I don't know what you're about. And if all it takes is somebody just coming around, and that's going to change, you're going to change your whole not demeanor, but you're going to change your whole personality. You're going to become a whole new person because somebody new walked into the room, it's like, yeah, I don't deal with the shapeshifters. I don't deal with the people who just kind of turn their backs on who they are. And again, when I say this, I'm not saying, oh, you serious, you have like more of a serious tone with me, but then around other people you like laugh and joke. And I don't mean that. What I mean is, I mean, it's just way more extremes. I mean, you can go from being, I mean, somebody who goes from like being a devout Christian to when they're around other people, oh, I don't believe in God, now I'm an atheist. That's the stuff that I'm talking about. Like, these are the type of shifts and these are the type of changes that I'm talking about. Like, these are extreme, that, like, you know, from one extreme to the other. And they're making those type of twists and those type of shifts when they're around people. And it's just kind of like, well, dang, who are you really? You know what I'm saying? And what it got me to realizing is when I had a conversation with this person is they don't even know who they are. You know what I'm saying? They've probably been like this for so long, probably since, you know, middle school, whatever, just doing everything that they can do to fit in and to be a part of the crowd or be a part of the crew or just to be accepted. And I mean, on one hand, I get that to some degree because I think that we all want to be accepted. I think that maybe it's human nature. I don't know what it is, you know, but of course I understand the desire to want to be accepted. And I won't sit here and act like I haven't done things that I know were wrong. And I won't sit here and act like I didn't do my best to become somebody who I know I wasn't to try to fit in. So I'm not condemning the person, but what I'm saying is I also did that at a young age. I did that in middle school. I don't, and you know what I'm saying, as somebody who's in their 30s now, that's not something that I do now. I am who I am. You either accept me or you don't. You either like me or you don't. You know, I can't, I'm not going to change who I am to fit your lifestyle or to fit your, you know what I'm saying, and to fit, just to fit in with you. You know what I'm saying? I got to be true to me. I got to stay who I am. And I like people who are who they are, even if it's somebody who I disagree with, you know what I'm saying? But they standing on who they are being themselves, they're being genuinely them. I can respect that even if we don't agree on a certain topic, that's fine, or we don't agree. We don't have to agree on anything, really. We can be on complete opposite sides, but as long as they're being themselves, I can respect that. I don't like the people who try to play both sides. It's like I don't stand for anything, or it's like I stand for this when I'm around you, but then when I'm around this person, no, I stand on the other side. And it's like, man, just, you know what I'm saying? And again, I don't care what side, like whatever the topic is, I don't care if you are on my side or on the other person's side. That's not going to change. If we have a friendship, it's not going to change our friendship. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with that. My thing is, just be you, be yourself, be who you are. You know what I'm saying? I think that trying to be other people or trying to, you know, be the person that someone wants you to be is so exhausting. You know what I'm saying? And again, like I said, I've been there before, so I know how exhausting it is. And I mean, it's just, but it also, again, it goes back to, again, for me, I had to get to a point to where I had to find me. You know what I'm saying? I had to find out who I was, who I wanted to be, and I had to fall in love with myself. And I feel like right now that's so important for a lot of people. You got to figure out who you are. And once you figure out who you are, figure out who you want to be. And once you figure out who you want to be, you got to love that person. You got to love who you are right now. You know what I'm saying? Even if you're not where you need to be, you got to love you got to love yourself. You know what I'm saying? You got to quit letting all these outside forces dictate who you are, dictate how you dress, dictate, you know, dictate how you feel about yourself. You know what I'm saying? Um, you know, things happen, you know, to think that people are out here getting surgeries, getting cut open, getting risking life and death in some situations because of, where they're going to get some of these operations based off of other people's thoughts of how they look. And it's like, I can understand it up to a certain point. And maybe also for me, I have a fear. I've always had a fear of surgeries. And so maybe that's something that's kept me from maybe getting a surgery or something like that. Who knows? But it's never been that serious to me. And again, I don't know if that's because of the fear of the surgery or there's just never really been a desire for a surgery, because there really hasn't been a desire for a surgery. But even if there was some desire at some point, the fear of going under was going to get rid of that thought. So that was never really a thing for me. So again, I want to make sure I reiterate that I understand that society tells us that beauty looks a certain way. Beauty for a woman looks a certain way. You're going to have to be a certain size or a certain shape or a certain shade of color or whatever the case is. And for men, you need to be a certain toneness and this and that, a certain height. And it's just like, you gotta just love yourself, love the way God made you. You know what I'm saying? If God made you a man who's 5'5", you gotta do what you do with your, you know what I'm saying? You gotta just be 5'5" and enjoy being 5'5". There are plenty of women out there who will love you. There are plenty of people who will love you for who you are. Just be yourself. You know what I'm saying? Make sure that you're make sure that you're working on yourself, working on who you are on the inside just as much as you're focusing on how you look on the outside. You know what I'm saying? There's so many more things that you could be working on to make yourself a better person besides going to get a surgery to get your nose, your lips, and all of that stuff done. I mean, okay, for me, for example, again, not really something that I'm thinking about, not a surgery that I'm thinking about, but I know it would help me. Would be like the hair plant. You know what I'm saying? As I'm starting to lose my hair, receding hairline. So, do I have my days when I get um sensitive about it? Sure. Sure, I would be lying if I said I didn't. I would be lying if I said I didn't get a little conscious about my hair, and the fact that what I'm saying, I'm losing it. It's thinning up top and hairline receding. I would be lying if I said I didn't think about it. And it doesn't cross my mind when I'm at the barber or every time I'm in the mirror. It happens. It's a part of life. But you know what I'm saying? Like I said, I do love myself. You know what I'm saying? Now, am I working to get healthier? Yes. Am I working to get healthy? Yes. I am working to get to a healthier place so that way I can try to get my blood pressure regulated and things like that. So I'm doing it for health reasons. And I'm also doing it for me because I do want to look better. I do want to feel better. I'm tired of, waking up with all of these ailments and things like that. And for the people who are listening on the podcast, I am a big person. I'm 6'5". Last time that I weighed myself, I was like 386 or something like that. So, and I've been big most of my life. So, you know what I'm saying? Now I'm at a point now where I do love myself, I love myself enough to where I know that I need to start doing my exercise. I need to start eating better, getting into some better habits, getting into some more going to the doctor more to get more information, to get the medicine, what I'm saying, to start getting the help that I need for my high blood pressure and things like that. So, but no, I don't want to but I'm doing it for myself. I'm not doing it to get the oohs and the ahs of, the outside, like, oh, he's losing weight. He looks better now. He's this, he's that. Excuse me. I'm not doing it for those reasons. I'm just doing it for me because, like I said, I'm just tired of a lot of the health issues or a lot of the ailments that I'm having that I know I can control, that I know I can start to heal from if I just take better care of myself, even if I can't do something cold turkey or stop eating something cold turkey. I can just start to doing less and less of it. So just to circle back to, you know what I'm saying, the topic that I wanted, the topic of the video, and that's just, being yourself, and being honest with yourself. That's just me also being honest with myself. Like, I can try to blame genetics, and I'm not saying that none of these things don't play a part. So even if genetics does play a part, even if I can't, even if I wanted to blame my mom for, feeding us the junk food when, growing up, again, those things, genetics and, how I was raised does play a part in it. At some point, I became an adult. I became in control of my life, and I could control what I chose to eat. And so even if those things do play a factor, and they do, at some point I also have to look at myself and be honest with myself and say, yeah, but I also didn't have to choose to eat these things once I got older. And once I started to make my own groceries, and once I started making my own meals and things like that, I could have made a lot of better decisions. So I have to be honest with myself. And that's why when I look in the mirror and I see my body, it's like I'm not ashamed from the standpoint of, what am I trying? How am I trying to put this? I don't feel the need to starve myself or to start, trying to um make myself throw up and all of these things. Like, I know that once I get my mind right and I do what I need to do, I know that I can get to where I need to be. I know I can hit those goals, whatever my weight goals may be. I know I can hit them if I stay consistent. I know the power of staying consistent, even if it's just small, steady steps. I know the power of that. I know the power of consistency. I know that those things can lead to big results. You know what I'm saying? Small steps can lead to big results. So I understand that. So I can look at myself in the mirror and I can, number one, take accountability for the way I look and my health status. And I can also now take responsibility for taking the steps needed, no matter how small, but taking the steps needed to consistently get to where I need to be. And I think that that's just important for people, period, is just to, number one, just love yourself, love who you are. You don't have to, and when I say love yourself, I mean, understand that just because you may not be where you want to be, right? You may not be the weight you want to be. You may not be the height that you want to be. You may not, and again, there's going to be things that you cannot change about yourself. You might not like your hair isn't straight enough, or your hair isn't curly enough, or whatever it is. These are certain things. There's certain things that you can change about yourself, other things you can't. But for the things that you can't change, you gotta accept those things, like love yourself, you know what I'm saying? And if you just have a mind state that says, and again, it's just an easy thing to go back to. So if you have a mind state that says, I'm short, so I can't be attractive to other people, it's like at some point we gotta heal from that way of thinking. We gotta heal from those ways of thinking that, oh, only a certain height is attractive, or only a certain weight is attractive, only a certain financial status is attractive. Like, you got to understand that there are people out here who will love you. And I don't just mean romantically. I mean, you got people out here who will love you, support you, uh, guide you, be a mentor, do all of these things. But you have to do it for yourself first. Like, you have to love yourself first, because there can be people out here supporting you and being there for you and doing everything that they can for you. But if you don't care enough about yourself, then it doesn't matter, because you're not going to hear what they have to say, or you're going to find an excuse, or you're going to think that they're lying because you don't believe that in yourself. And I can understand that, because I've been there. You know what I'm saying? Where people believe in you, or people see the light in you, but you don't see it and you don't believe in yourself. So you just feel like, oh, they're just giving me lip service. They're just talking just to talk, when really they really do see something in you, and their words may be genuine, but because you don't believe it, then it doesn't even matter. And like I said, I've been there, and I've been there for years. So, like, again, when I talk about things, I don't want to ever sound like I'm talking down to anyone. I'm just talking from a place of experience. I've been in these places of doubt, in these places of self pity, not knowing my worth, um, just not believing in myself. All of these things, I've just been there, and I've stayed in those spaces for years. Like, you got to understand, I'm just now, like, in the past, maybe 6 months or so, I'm just now getting out of some of these spaces. You know what I'm saying? And some of the spaces still got a hold on me, you know what I'm saying? So I'm still working to get out of these spaces. So as I'm talking to y'all, I'm also talking to myself, and trying to help motivate myself to let go of certain ideas, to let go of certain doubts and things like that. But it's all necessary, you know what I'm saying? We gotta, but it all starts with us. That's the one thing that I am starting to realize, is that everything starts with us. No matter what it is that you're trying to do, it starts with you. You know what I'm saying? Whether you're trying to build a business, you're trying to build your brand, you're trying to lose weight, you're trying to get more confident, you're trying to find peace in your life, you're trying to obtain happiness, whatever it is, a lot of these things start with us. It starts with our mindset, it starts with our belief in ourselves, our decision to finally say, you know what, why not today? Why not now? Why not me? And we have to understand that everything that we do starts with our mindset. Like, when we wake up, today is going to be a good day. That doesn't mean that bad things aren't going to happen, but you are determined to make today a good day. So you're going to try to find the bright side, or the positive side of everything that happens. And so, you know what I'm saying? It starts with you. It starts with that mindset. And we gotta start changing the way, and changing the narratives, and changing the way that we think about ourselves, and the way that we think about beauty, and the way that we think about acceptance and things like that. Like, we gotta understand that, you know, not everybody in the world is going to accept you. Not everybody's going to like what you like. Not everybody's going to care about the things that you care about. And that is okay. Even your friends don't have to like the things that you like. It's okay. You may have your friends. For me, I have my friends who love anime because I love anime. I got my friends who couldn't care less about anime, and that's okay. That doesn't make them any less my friends. Same thing with football. Love football. Not a huge basketball fan. Got friends who are huge basketball fans. Again, it does not change anything for me, because I accept my friends for who they are. You know what I'm saying? I got friends who love hiking and being outside. I'm not an outside type of person. That's just not my thing. You know what I'm saying? So my thought when I'm thinking camping, I'm just thinking I'm in maybe a air conditioned resort that might be out, like, you know what I'm saying, might be in a mountain or something like that, maybe. But this whole just in a tent out in wilderness enjoying, no, that ain't. And I'm saying it's not for me, but I've never tried it, so I can't sit here and say it's not for me. What I'll say is the idea of it doesn't sound pleasant at all, because it's unfamiliar to me. I didn't grow up hunting. I didn't grow up fishing. I didn't grow up being an outdoorsman and things like that. That just wasn't that wasn't anything that I did. So I didn't grow up with it, so I don't understand it. But my friends who love it, I don't knock them for it. I just don't understand it. And maybe that might be something that I do try to do to get a better understanding of it, to see why they enjoy it so much, to see why it's so relaxing and soothing for them. I might have to try it to understand them, but I don't have to understand their love for it to accept them and appreciate them and to welcome them as a friend. So you know what I'm saying? We gotta change our perspective on things like acceptance. We don't have to be we're not first of all, we're not gonna be accepted by everyone, and we don't have to be. Find those people who do accept you, who genuinely accept you for who you are, the person that you are right now, flaws and all. Find those people who accept this version of you. And that doesn't mean that you stop growing because you find the people who accept you as you are. The people who accept you as you are understand, okay, this is a flaw, but this is something that you can also work on. You can get better, you can improve this thing. So like my friends who accept me understand that, especially again years ago, and really up until recently, like I said, 6 months ago, I had a major anger issue. You know what I'm saying? I had a problem dealing with my anger, had a problem expressing myself in a healthy way when I'm angry and when I'm frustrated. That's something that was a flaw of mine. My friends still love me, friends still accepted me, but I understand now that that's something that I need to work on and I need to get better at. So yes, you can have your flaws, but that doesn't mean that it's going to stop people from accepting you. You just have to find the people who are willing to accept you. Stop trying to go get acceptance from the people who want you to be perfect, or the people who want you to fit their life and want you to fit what they have going on. And the moment that you inconvenience them and inconvenience what they got going on, then they want nothing to do with you. Stop trying to get acceptance from those people. Understand that those people aren't for you, at least not really. You know what I'm saying? They're for you when you're convenient for them, or when they need something from you, or when you're offering them something. But when you need but like real acceptance is just acceptance, even if it's inconvenient for me. You know what I'm saying? When you're a friend and I accept you, you know what I'm saying? It is what it is. That's not going to change. I'm not When it's real, it's not going to change because we disagree. You're on one side of the fence, I'm on the other side. Okay, it's still love, it's still respect. We disagree, but I still love you and I still respect you and I still accept you. You know what I'm saying? Like those are the things that we need to be going after. Those are the people, those are the friendships that we need to be trying to obtain and trying to fight for. And not this whole, oh, he or she's they're popular, so let me try to get in with the in crowd and things like that. It's like we're focusing on the wrong things, and that's why we keep getting led in the wrong directions, because we're choosing to follow the wrong things. We're choosing to worry about the wrong things. We get so consumed with things that are so superficial and they don't matter. But again, as someone who was just doing some of these things that I'm talking about, I'm not sitting here trying to belittle you. I'm just trying to get you to open your eyes to what should really matter to you, what should really be important to you, what you should really be focusing on and putting your time and your efforts and your energy into. Because what I'm realizing is that life starts to get better once you start to accept yourself. You know what I'm saying? Life starts to get a little easier. It ain't perfect. It ain't all the way easy, but it just gets a little easier when you accept who you are, when you accept that you have flaws, when you accept that there are things that you need to work on and actually start working on them. You know what I'm saying? So there's beauty in that. Like, you know what I'm saying? There's beauty in doing the work. There's beauty in healing. There's beauty in, going to get those anger management classes and going through that therapy and doing the things that you need to do to become the better version of yourself, or that version of yourself that you always dream about, or that version of yourself that people see you being when they say they see something in you. So, you know what I'm saying? But it's work to get to those things, and the work is always worth it when you put in it, when you really put it in. Like, you can't shortcut anything. And that's one thing, again, that I'm learning is that there is beauty in the journey, and trying to shortcut things only hurts you in the end. So, man, to wrap this episode up, please, y'all, start being honest with yourself. Being honest with yourself about what you want, who you want to be, where you're trying to go, what you want to do in life, all of these things. Start being honest with yourself and just start accepting yourself. Start accepting the things, the good and the bad, because there's nothing wrong with accepting the fact that, like for me, I accept that I don't handle my anger well. That doesn't mean, just because I accept it now doesn't mean that I stay in this spot. That just letting me know, okay, I own it. I realize it. I own it. Now it's time to start getting better. So we need to start just being ourselves, being honest with ourselves, accepting ourselves, flaws and all, and working to improve the flaws. But I want to thank everybody listening on any platform that you're listening on. Y'all already know I appreciate y'all for listening. And to any and everyone watching on YouTube, please continue to please continue to listen. Y'all already know, comment, like, subscribe, and share, and want to keep growing. And y'all have a blessed day.